And we're live. Welcome back for another welcome back for another deadline stream. It's been a while. International break is over. FPL's officially back. How are we all? Good to be back doing a deadline stream. I hate the international breaks, and luckily there's only one more for the rest of this year. So that's good news, I suppose, but bad news that there's still another one. God, I hate the international breaks and the Nations League. So pointless in my opinion. But anyway, at least we're back. FPL's back. Hope you're all well. And thank you those of you that are here already, or if you're watching this on catch up, then thank you for watching after the stream as well. Martin Tyler, and it's live. I can't use that one. It's copyrighted, I think, or trademark that one. Oscar's early again. Yeah, I was just sitting there and I thought, why not? A few minutes early. Let's just go for it. Morning, Johnny. Morning, Charlie. Deepa Kraj, Kill Amy. Hillbilly, Razvan, Harry, Mode, AB, Yash, Radu, Matthew, Grain Bread Pastry. Welcome all of you to the deadline stream. Send your lump. Good to see you. Yeah, nice to have FPL back. A little bit rusty this morning. I'm off to, there's an FPL meetup in London today, in case anyone lives in London and fancies it. I'll be there from midday. I'll just put the details on here for a minute, actually. That's the details. If anyone lives in London, I'm going to go from straight after this stream to watch the games. The fixture's wrong, actually. The Liverpool-Chelsea game's wrong. I made the poster for them back in August. It's obviously Arsenal playing at 5:30. But that's at the Thirsty Bear in London, so I'll be there today after the stream to watch the games, drink beer, hang out with like-minded people. I recommend them if you've not been to an FPL meetup. They're good fun. What's the turnout like on these events? There's normally about anywhere from like 50 to 100 people. We get like the entire floor of a pub to ourselves, and because we like have a good turnout, everyone gets, it's like 10 or 20% off everything. So that's quite a nice little touch as well. But yeah, it's pretty good turnout, I suppose. And then obviously there's the what do you call it, fest at the end of every season, or start of every season, I suppose. But yeah, they're good for like during the season just to watch the football with like-minded people. Who's the best pick for captain? I feel like this week almost everyone's going Haaland, but if anyone's not, let us know in chat. Who are you going for that's not Haaland? I just think like you've got Palmer away at Anfield, obviously Salah's home to Chelsea, but that on paper isn't as good as Haaland against Wolves. You've got Saka against Bournemouth, which isn't too bad, but it's an away fixture, like he's flagged. So I just don't know if there's anyone leaping out this week other than Haaland, personally. Somebody says triple captain Haaland. I mean, you can make the case for it, but then you could also make the case for next week, right? Like, surely Southampton home's even better. I wonder if people are going to go for that, because obviously those that did it in Gameweek 2 against Ipswich were laughing with that hat-trick. And I suppose some just did it again the week after, and that also paid off equally well. But yeah, I'm not sure about the Gameweek 9 triple captaincy yet. I mean, it'd be very tempting. Like, if he hauls this Gameweek, it's going to be very, very tempting. But there is, in Gameweek 30, that Leicester home fixture, which is the other single Gameweek opportunity. Music's quite low. Let me turn that up. It's really loud in my ears. Is that better? There's Leicester in Gameweek 30. That's a single Gameweek. And obviously by then we'll have an idea of the doubles, because Gameweek 33 should be a double Gameweek. So we'll have an idea whether we should just save it for the doubles or just use it in Gameweek 30. And we'll know what the mystery chip is as well. So that's the other side of it in terms of holding it. Let me know if the music's alright now or if it's too loud. Carl says, how's the cuppa, Oscar? I've got a cold beer over in New Zealand. Yeah, it's not bad. I haven't actually started on it yet, but there it is. Yeah, can confirm. Good brew. It's double bagged today. 2 tea bags to get me going for this deadline stream. Zelda says, morning, Don Oscar. How is the one and only Teddy? He's great, actually. My mum just swang by to pick him up, though, so he's gone round there for the deadline stream. Actually, last deadline stream, she did the same. She picked him up and looked after him during the stream, and she was sending me photos of him watching the stream from hers. What are you drinking? It's just a cup of tea. Milk, no sugar. What do you guys prefer? Milk? Tea or coffee? I have to turn this down a little bit because it's really loud. Maybe I can turn it up here. Is that better like that? And then it's turned up there, but not in my ears. Maybe we poll it. Let's put it to bed, tea or coffee. Really FPL relevant poll. Or maybe something else. Is there something else that I'm not thinking about that people have for their morning kick? Bit quiet now, damn it. Bit too loud. Is the music too loud or too quiet? Or perfect? Meg prefers tea. I've always been more of a tea person. I don't mind a coffee, don't get me wrong. Red Bull. I feel like that's got to be a bad habit if you start every day with a Red Bull, but I've got mates that do that. It's the right volume now. Okay, good. A whiskey in the morning? Surely not. It's too quiet now. Alright, we'll go back up a little bit. It's fine. Okay. Water and lemon. That sounds much healthier. What's Nocco? The Kids' Choice Nocco. I don't know what Nocco is. Is that chocolate? The whiskey man gets a like. Oh dear. Right. Bertman says start bench Dibbling / Semenyo. I would start Dibbling, personally. I saw a photo of him in training, so I imagine he's alright. So I would personally start Dibbling there. If I'm not mistaken, there was a photo of Dibbling in training. So if you've got him and you've got a choice like that, I feel like Dibbling's the choice. I'm sure I didn't imagine it. Let me see if I can find the photo. Who was it that posted it? I definitely saw a photo of him coming out the tunnel in training. Maybe I'll search Dibbling training. I mean, he's by far the best, like, cheap midfielder. Oh, it's Gianni. This is it. Unless he's trolling, but I don't think that's his style. Flag Dibbling spotted in training. So there he is. So, yeah, Dibbling. Carl says, Oscar, your bench is exactly the same as mine. I'm playing a 4-3-3 this round as well. Yeah, I mean, I've really been going back and forth. If anyone disagrees on benching Rodgers, let me know who you'd bench instead. I can't bench Lewis, like, when Man City top of the clean sheet odds, and he's got a bit of attacking threat in him. I can't bench Porro when he's home to West Ham. And I can't bench Trent, surely. So then, just by process of elimination, I think it has to be Rodgers. Away at Fulham. I mean, don't get me wrong, one of these defenders is probably going to disappoint me, and then in hindsight, maybe I should have started Rodgers, but Rodgers could blank as well, I suppose. I just think, without hindsight, it's probably the most logical benching. Rodgers first, then Semenyo, then Greaves. And as Carl says, the Fulham defence, he says it's great. It's a decent defence, Fulham, as well. So, like, it's not an easy fixture on paper going away at Fulham. That said, Villa have got everyone back that's been injured. So, they're at full strength, basically. So, I guess, like, Kamara, McGinn, all those guys that have been out are all back. I think even Mings is, like, available for selection. Not that all these guys will come straight in the 11, necessarily. Maybe some of those do, some of those don't. It'll be Powell left centre-back, I'm sure of it. But, yeah, good news for Villa, especially if we're a Villa fan. Jason says, Porro blank, you heard it here first. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised. He's such an unpredictable asset. Like, he's got it in him to get a goal, a clean sheet, you know, whatever that is, 15 points, I think. He did it at, I think, Gameweek 38 last season. I'm sure he did. And I had him that game week. And it was his biggest score of the season right at the end. Like, he's got it in him. And, I mean, the next four, there's got to be some points in there. West Ham home, Palace away, Villa home, Ipswich home. There's got to be points in there. And the reason I also like Porro is because does Lewis start all of the next four? I know a lot of you are counting on it, but if I'm being totally honest, I'm not 100% Lewis starts all of the next four. There's got to be a benching in there. But then obviously I'll have to hope also in that scenario that if he's benched he doesn't come on, which might not happen. But like let's say I mean next week I suppose I play Rodgers over Trent, don't I? But yeah, I think it's good to have that depth. I've got 4 decent defenders plus Greaves. So there might be a week there. And Game Week 10 and 11, Man City... Game Week 10, City have got the early kickoff, even though it's 3 o'clock. I think Game Week 11, the early kickoff is 3 o'clock. So again, there's a chance of early team news. So Game Week 10 and 11 as well. I might actually know if Lewis starts or not. And you guys will as well, obviously. Joe Shakes is captain in Mbumo. Oh yeah, so 57% coffee, 43% tea. Morning, James. James says, morning, Oscar. Good luck, everyone. Good luck, everyone. Miss Super Chat. Sorry, let me check what that was. It was Jago with the 11 months. He says, any news on Konsa? Should I sell for Lewis? Yeah, so that was the Villa news. Basically, everyone's available, including Konsa. See if I can find the actual article. There we go. So Aston Villa, Emery's only absentee is Olsen. Mings and Kamara will travel to Fulham, while Anana, Konsa, Ramsey and McGinn are all available for selection. So, yeah, Konsa's available. And your question was, should I sell for Lewis? That's not a bad move, though, to be fair. I still think that's a good move, even with him being available. Like, let's have a look at the clean sheet odds. This week, as I said, City are top. Plus, in Game Week 10 and 11, there's that chance for early team news. So I think it's a really good entry point to buy Lewis. So, I would do it. I think that's a move worth making. But yeah, I mean, he's not guaranteed to start this Game Week, Lewis. But he was benched in the final international game for England against Finland. So he's had like over a week rest in terms of, you know, playing matches. He came on off the bench against Finland, so I think that move makes sense. Mo Omar, thanks for the super chat. He says, hi Oscar, 2 free transfers and a planned Game Week 12 wildcard. Option 1 is Muniz to Wood and Eze/Jota to Johnson. Option 2 is Saka to Johnson, Muniz to Solanke. Option 3 is Saka to Son/Foden and Muniz to Wood. I like the third option the most, I would say. Saka to Son, Muniz to Wood. I think that's the best option of those 3. I think Saka plays for what it's worth. But if you're wildcarding in Game Week 12, comparing the fixtures, Sons are better. I mean, Saka's a better FPL asset, to be fair, but I would say the third option and Son, not Foden. I mean, Foden's... The fixtures are even better for Foden. That's the thing. But he's not guaranteed to start all of the next 3, is it? Before you wildcard. So Son's kind of the more sensible pick there. I would say... I don't know. I feel like you can delay that a week though, right? I feel like Saka plays. And then you could look at Foden next week for Southampton home. I think that's what I'd rather do. So it depends if you can sell Muniz or not. If you have to play Muniz, then I would just go Muniz to Delap, perhaps. And then leave Saka for a week. Hopefully that makes sense. I feel like you can delay that a week. Obviously if Saka misses out, then I'm sorry, but... Arteta said like he's hopeful he'll play. Carsley said he would have been able to play the second game, but they didn't want to take the risk. It would have been unfair on him. So I feel like based on all these comments, Saka's fine. And also, did you guys see last night? Shout out to FPL Tommy Gum, who actually went to the hotel the team was staying at, and he recorded the players coming in. And there's a debate now going around whether Saka was seen there or not. It is, I'll tell you when. Now. That. Is that Saka? Is that Saka or not? Can you see that? Maybe full screen will help. We're losing the plot here. Peak FPL this. Right. Watch this walk as well. Maybe the walk will help. There. Is that Saka? It's a side angle. It might be Timber. And then, I don't know how much help it is, but Andy Martin goes to the same hotel last night. Broke the cordon. Stopped by security. Explained why I'm here. And I got them to take a picture next to the sign. Absolute madness. Not sure it helps. So now people are trying to work it out. Andy's 6 foot apparently. What's this one? So Andy's 6 foot. Saka's, what is he? 5'10". It lines up. Is it Saka or is it Timber? It's Timber, Sultan says. It's not Saka. Saka's skinnier. Oh dear. Peak FPL. Shout out to Andy for doing that. I mean, I don't know if it's any help at all, but it's so funny that he just goes to the hotel and gets our security to take a photo. Oh dear. Yeah, I did do your super chat, Moema. I said that I would just do Muniz to Wood, unless you can't afford it, then Delap. And I feel like you can wait a week with Saka. You can get Foden next week for Southampton home. Aaron says, thoughts on Andreas Pereira? I rate him as a pick. I'm not so sure about Pereira. Is he not playing more of a holding midfielder role? I'd rather Smith Rowe. Smith Rowe is comfortably the better pick, I would say. Even Rodgers, I'd rather have over Andreas, I would say. I think Andreas has been playing deeper after the Smith Rowe signing. I'm pretty sure. So it's not the Andreas of past seasons playing as a 10. He's like a deep lying playmaker. Obviously still on some set pieces. Maybe corners. Not sure about... sorry, maybe penalties. Not sure about the penalties though. Because I think Jimenez took one. But maybe he wasn't on the pitch. No, but I think there's better picks, as I say, like Smith Rowe. Literally from Fulham if you've got the extra money. Or Rodgers. FPL Yellow Army, how we doing, mate? He says, morning, Oscar. Deserve the super chat for being the GOAT. Current bench order is Carvalho, Porro, Semenyo. Feels bad benching Porro. Not sure who to drop. Saliba, Rodgers, Lewis. Well, I've got Porro and Rodgers, and I've started Porro. I would have Porro ahead of Carvalho as well if you're benching him, but I've actually started Porro, and I've benched Rodgers, so that's my opinion on that one. Like, West Ham have looked leaky. He's got a home fixture. They need a good result after recent form. And they've been unlucky, to be fair, to be 9th. They're top in the league for expected goals. But yeah, I do recognise as well West Ham's attack's pretty good. But I think Porro over Rodgers, personally. Over Rodgers away at Fulham. That's my view on that one. So if it was me, I'd be starting Porro over Rodgers. But yeah, it is quite close. Trent to Vardiol or Lewis? I think I'd leave that one a week. If I had to pick one, I'd say Vardiol. More nailed than Lewis, but it's not completely nailed. Like, Ake's back in training, so he's an option for Pep as well soon. This week might come too soon, but by game week 9, I'm sure Ake will be on the bench. The music stresses me out. Let me turn it down a bit then. Can't get the volume right today. Hopefully that's better. Thoughts on Diaz, asks King Messi. Well, he started every game but one. So he's clearly still favoured. He was benched before the break, but I think he started in the Champions League midweek before that. So I think he starts. As I say, he's clearly favoured. I think he starts against Chelsea, so I don't think he's a rush to sell. But there are options like Johnson, Maddison that look good with better fixtures. But I don't think he's a rush to sell this week. It's like you could delay it a week, but I don't mind selling him for either of those two. Or Boomer if you've not got him. Did you guys see menus out for like 7 matches? I don't know how long that is in a time frame. Is that like a month maybe? Maybe more than a month. So that's a huge loss, and they've got other players missing as well, so that's good news if you've got Boomer at least. Casey says, hi Oscar, great to see you on 200k. Yeah, we hit it like, it must have been about a month ago now, and I did go and get the Focal tattoo done, as promised. So I've got that on my ankle now. I've got the Focal logo on my ankle. What happened to the channel that was going to get the logo tattooed as well? Do you remember that? They said if they get 100 subscribers, they'll get the logo tattooed as well. FPL Across the Pond, wasn't it? Is that their name? Across the Pod, yeah. Yeah, what happened to that? I never heard from him. He was like dead serious. I think we got scammed. I think he scammed us. Or maybe they're still going to do it. I mean, I took a while to get around to doing it, to be fair. You want proof? I can't get my leg up on the stream right now. I can try and find the photo. There it is. As promised. I actually went on an international break holiday as well, and you can see it in those photos. Nice to get away. I went to Egypt over the break. Where's the photo of that? There we go. You can see the tattoo here as well. There it is. Having a Stella by the pool. It's not too bad, is it? I was proper nervous, and the guy was not helping my nerves at all. The tattoo artist. I was explaining like I've never got one before, and he was like, when you're done being a pussy, you're going to come over and get this tattoo, mate. I was like, oh, you're not helping me at all. Super chat miss, sorry. H8 says, Saka to Son here, hope the differential pays off. Yeah, I think that's a decent move for the next 3, maybe 4. Because Saka's got Bournemouth away, he's flagged. Does he play? Probably does. I think he probably does. Liverpool, Newcastle, Chelsea, and then you could look to go back to Saka. But, I mean, there's no denying Son's fixtures are better. He's got 3 home games in the next 4. Arsenal got 3 away games in the next 4, and their 1 home game is Liverpool. So it does make sense, that move. I can't do it. I've got triple Spurs. I'm literally tripled up. Is that a mistake? Is that going to cost me today? I'll be at the FPL meetup for the 12:30 game, which is Tottenham v West Ham. Hoping that my Spurs triple up does something. What was torture actually on that international break holiday was that game. Those games, the last games of Gameweek 7, were while I was in the air. So for like 5 hours, I didn't know what the scores were, and it was actually torture. I really wanted to know like what the score lines were, and I had no way of knowing. I was Schrodinger's FPL manager. My players are either hauled or they blanked. I had no idea. And then even when we landed, there was no signal, so I had to wait till we got to the hotel. Awful. Anyway, Amy Pan says, midfielders Saka, Bumo, Rodgers, Johnson. Strikers is Wood, Havertz, Haaland. Defence is Trent, Gabriel, Greaves, Flecken. Got 1 free transfer, 2 million in the bank. Thoughts? I think Havertz to Solanke is probably a move that makes a lot of sense this week. I would do that. Yeah. Greaves isn't ideal, but I suppose he's home to Everton, so it could be worse. Like there is clean sheet potential there. I would do Havertz to Solanke there, Amy. I think if you've got Jackson or if you've got Havertz, I think either of those to Solanke makes a lot of sense this week. Favourite takeaway place? There's a place around here called Peri Peri. They do like unreal chicken wings and chicken burgers. Probably give it to Peri Peri. Senor, morning Oscar, wishing you good gaming. Love you. Thanks very much, Senor. I appreciate you too. Start Vardy or Rodgers? I'd go Vardy there. Is Bowen good as a differential? I think last week was the ideal time to buy him. It feels a bit like reacting to last week's points now. On the last deadline stream, actually, we mentioned Bowen because it was Ipswich home, and was saying he makes a lot of sense if you want to sell Diaz. Evan, thanks for the 14 months. He's got 2 free transfers, and he says, thoughts on Diaz to Johnson? Yeah, we were talking about Diaz earlier, and he started all but one game. So he's clearly favoured, and I think he starts this game week, but I think going to Johnson's fine as well. I'd be more inclined to do it if you've got at least 2 free transfers. Otherwise, I feel like it's not a move to rush to make, if you see what I mean. Okay, it's probably a little upgrade this week. Longer term, it's a bigger upgrade, but this week it's like a little upgrade, and it could be one you delay if you've only got 1 free transfer. But if you've got multiple transfers, then I think it's fine to do it, if that makes sense. Konate or Keane? Branthwaite's back in training for Everton, so I would expect him not to start, so Konate. Probably be Branthwaite, Tarkowski again in centre-back. Palmer to Bumo. I would definitely hold Palmer. Definitely hold Palmer. Chin Lloyd, thanks for the super chat. He says, should I start Flecken or Verbruggen today? So Flecken's away at Man United. Brighton. Who have Brighton got? Let's check the clean sheet odds. I've forgotten who Brighton are playing, to be honest. Those are clean sheet odds. Let me check the fixtures. Brighton are away at Newcastle. Okay, so where are they? Brighton 15.5%. Brentford 13.5%. Yeah, it's nothing between them. I think I'd rather start Flecken. I think they'll probably both concede, if I'm honest. But I think I'd go Flecken, even for that 2% less there. Like, Isak's back in training, so going away at Newcastle's not an easy fixture, especially with Isak back. So I'd probably say I'd start Flecken. Just hope for the best. I think they'll probably both concede, both get a few save points. Flame says, been a long international break, excited for the football this week. Yeah, it's good to have it back. Only one more international break for the rest of the year, which is a bit annoying as well, but at least it's only one more. Shiram says, he's ranked 20k, he still has the wild card. Do you think I should cash in and attack the next 4 game weeks and save as many transfers as I can until game week 12 and have a mini wildcard again? If you've got quite a few free transfers, then I think there's definitely a nice little mini slot of 4 game weeks to attack, especially for Spurs. And you could hop off Arsenal assets if you want to really attack the next 4. I think game week 12 makes a lot of sense to wildcard though, so if you can get to there and leave yourself with a few free transfers, wildcard and then roll, you'll be looking really good, especially ranked 20k right now. Is Konsa okay? Yeah, Emery said everyone's available again, so that includes Konsa. So yeah, Konsa, I imagine, starts. Senya Lump says, Konsa to 8 Nori. And is there a Mrs. Focal? There is a Mrs. Focal. She was in those photos, in the international break photos that I posted for my holiday. She was in one of those. Konsa to 8 Nori. I don't see why you'd do that this week, because he's got City. There's no reason to make that move this week. Maybe in game week 9, because that's when Wolves have got a better fixture run, but I don't see the need. But even in game week 9, Villa are home to Bournemouth, so I don't see the need to make that move for at least a few game weeks. Yeah, last time I posted a photo of Mrs. Focal, everyone said I was punching. And now she winds me up about it, saying that I'm punching. So thanks for that, guys. Olaena or Mikalenko? I think Mikalenko, honestly, even though he's away. So Forest, where are they? 34%. Everton, 23.5%. I've just got a feeling that with Braithwaite and Mikalenko back, they can start grinding out these clean sheets and results. It's when those two have been out, especially Braithwaite, that they've really struggled. And they've had some other injuries as well, in fairness. What team do you support? I'm an Arsenal fan. Good morning, Lufo. Palmer to Foden. I feel like you have to keep Palmer. Right? Surely. If you got Palmer, you have to keep him, right? How do hits work? Do they actually take points off your total? Yeah, they'll take -4 off your total points for every transfer you make over your allowance. One of my mates just started playing FPL this season, and he didn't know about that. He thought every week you get to pick a new team. And he was like, why am I at bottom in the league? My team's so good. And then I actually looked at the league and what he'd done. And he's been taking, like, last game week he took a -64. The week before he took like a -40. So I had to explain to him, you only get one transfer a week. And I had to explain, like, you can roll them. Is she Miss Focal or Mrs.? Miss Focal. Trust me, if it's the former, she is thinking about the latter. She did mention it, actually, on the holiday. It's on the radar. What does focal mean? Well, focal is like something that's central to everything. Like focal point. Like commentators say, is the focal point of their attack. I guess it means like something central or important. I was just trying to think of a word that began with F because I like the alliteration. FPL, F. And I was thinking of words that began with F. And I just somehow thought focal. I did think focus, but someone had claimed that already. I think his name's Graham. There's already an FPL focus, so I ended up with focal. I've also come to realise that it's not that important having like the perfect name. Like, look at XQC on Twitch. What's his full name? XQCOW. That's just like the worst name, and he's like one of the biggest streamers. FPL Focal Law. FPL Focal's the perfect pick. I think it works nicely as well. Rolls off the tongue, doesn't it? You have 5 transfers. No, that actually that's a bit confusing, isn't it? That's transfers I've made this season. So I've made 5 transfers. OW means Overwatch. It used to be an Overwatch Pro. Ah, that makes sense. Okay. Got you. I was going to do an XQC impression. Chat, dude. Has anyone ever watched him? He's just like, I don't know how he does it. He does like 10-hour streams with like mental energy. Felix, Quebec, Overwatch. Ah, okay. Alright, I see now. How many transfers banked? I've just got 1 actually, so this week I'm going to roll and then I'll have 2. And hopefully roll up a few more, because Gameweek 12 I'd like to buy Palmer. So I'm not sure 100% how I'll do that yet, but one possible route is I could go Wood down to like a cheap forward like that, and then I could go Johnson to Palmer. Because in Gameweek 12, Palmer? Gameweek 12, Johnson's got City, so that kind of fits nicely. And then I'd have to sell Trent down to defender for like 4.5 mil. I don't know who that'd be yet. Anderson's quite nice, 4.3 mil. Gameweek 12, he's got Wolves. What's it like after that? Yeah, maybe not. I'd probably start him 2 of the 5 after that. Maybe not even at all. I could just keep playing Gabriel, Lewis, Porro. Although, yeah, I'd need someone that's got a good fixture in 12, because Porro's got City, so I'd play Lewis. Anyway, that's my loose thinking right now, and that gets me to Saka, Palmer and Haaland in Gameweek 12. But there might be another route that pops up before then that looks better. $7 millionth in the world, am I cooked? Not yet, there's still a long way to go. What is there, 31 game weeks? It's a long way to go. Virtual says, Oscar, I had a dream last night that Trent scored and Palmer blanked. Oh my god, if that happens, that would be such a huge swing as a Trent owner and Palmer non-owner. He scored against Chelsea before, Trent. He scored a free kick against them quite a few years back. Thomas says, hello from the London Overground. Thomas, are you going to the FPL meetup or are you just out in London? I'm heading here after the stream today. The Thirsty Bear. To watch the games. If anyone's in London and fancies it, I'll be there from about midday or maybe when the Spurs game kicks off onwards. So like straight after the stream I'll head there. They're always good fun. Drink beer, hang out with like-minded people with the same interests in FPL. His free kick token is gone, he used it for England. I know, it's kind of annoying though, he scores such a world-class free kick over the international break, but he's just got the assist in the league. I mean, he's on 2.9 XGI. One return, just one assist from 2.9 XGI. That's pretty unlucky as a Trent owner. So if he can do something over the next 4, when a lot have sold him to get Palmer, that would be huge. Because, yeah, betting against Palmer is a bit risky right now with his ownership. I'm sure last game week or the week before, I think it was last game week, he was like almost 100% effective ownership. Iric says Diaz and Semenyo to Foden and Winks. I like that. As long as you've got a good front 3 that you can play every week. Otherwise it's not worth it. What you don't really want to ever do is have a midfielder like Winks and then a forward like Stewart that you can't play either. Because that's just a bench that's too light then really. You know, unless we get in a scenario where 5 at the back's like the way to play, but that very, very rarely happens. But I like those moves. I don't think Diaz is a rush to sell. I think he starts against Chelsea. But I like those moves, as long as you don't need to use Winks. The rest of your team's solid. Jay Higgins, thanks for becoming an FPL Focal member. Shout out to Jay, thanks for that. Appreciate your support. If anyone else wants to be a member, use the join button below the stream. You get a little loyalty badge by your name. You get the members channel on Discord. Early access to videos. What else? That's about it, to be fair. It supports the channel. So if you want to become a member, yeah, use the join button below. Oh, Colwell. Fofana, sorry. Let me update that. Yeah, Colwell's not suspended. Is that what it says? Let me fix that. Streams, stream design, news. Let me open that real quick and update it. I don't think it's that relevant because no one's going to play him anyway, but just in case someone was like, let me sell him. It's Fofana and Cucurella, right? That's suspended. There we go. Is that updated? I think so. Alexander says, anything new on a Havertz start? Yeah, actually in that video, I can't tell you whereabouts, but Havertz is spotted here. He's somewhere in this video. FPL Tommy Gun went to the Bournemouth hotel and recorded them coming in. Is that him? I think that was Havertz there, wasn't it? So he tweeted afterwards, actually, Arsenal players that definitely travelled, and Havertz is in there. Saka wasn't mentioned, so he didn't see him, but there was that footage, the side angle. That may or may not be him. It could be Timber. But I think he starts, yeah. What's your thoughts on Salah, keep or sell? I think he's a keep this week. And then you could sell him game week 9. Wait, what game week is it? 8. Yeah, game week 9 you could sell him. Because like this week, where do you go with him? Foden could work, but it feels like a little bit sideways when Salah's home. And to be fair, as we said, Cucurella is out suspended, so that could be good news for Salah down that side. So I think maybe next week makes more sense to sell him. Like if you haven't got Palmer looks better to buy next week rather than this week. So I think it just lines up a bit nicer next week. If I had Salah, I'd keep him basically. About to face PSG as a newly promoted side on Football Manager. Wish me luck. Good luck with that fixture. Huge fixture. Best of luck. Anyone see the massive delay on Football Manager 25? Very annoying. Like, how does something go so catastrophically wrong where they have to push the launch back by like 5 months? Like, at that point, what's the point in even releasing it? Just skip one and go to... I guess I know why they're not skipping it, because of the money, but you could just skip it at that point and go for FM26. But yeah, pretty bad that. The game must have been in a really bad state. I think they redid the engine or something. Like, or they should just push out a massive update to FM24. Yeah, sales is available, as Crime Block says, for whoever was asking about sales there. I missed that message. Yeah, I think Havertz will start. He's with the squad, so I'd be surprised. Unless there's like an undisclosed injury. But he was spotted with the travelling squad. But yeah, Saka's a bit of a question mark, but I mean, it's not the end of the world. I've got Rodgers. But based on what Carsley said and what Arteta said, I feel like he's got a good chance of playing. Bumo or Johnson? I think I'd go Bumo between the two. He's better for minutes. He's on some set pieces and penalties. 6 goals in 7 games. What more can you ask for? Obviously, I think Johnson's on 7 goals in a row in all competitions. So can he make it 8? Do you like FPL Consult? Yeah, he's a good lad. Leon makes great content. Yeah, we speak occasionally. Really talented video editor. He's got some good, unique ideas. So Hale says, between me and you, early kickoff and triple Spurs. I know. Trust me, I know. Triple Spurs and the early kickoff. And I'm going to the FPL meetup as well, so... yeah, I don't know. It could be a head in hands moment, or I could be on the tables by full time. Pouring a pint on my head, celebrating. Nowhere in between. Pinners React says, what? Oh, I did that one. It was Harry. He says, Watkins to Solanke, Diaz to Maddison, or a -4, Calvert-Lewin to Solanke, Diaz to Maddison, and Semenyo to a 4.4 midfielder. Now, the first option's way better. Definitely don't do the -4. I like the first option much more. Yeah. Mr. F says, starting Archer over Rodgers. Greaves over Konsa / Mikalenko at the moment. What do you think? I mean, Stewart is flagged, isn't he? So, Archer could start up top, but it could be Dibbling, that's the thing. He's used Dibbling up top before. Maybe he'll give Armstrong a chance again, but he seems to be like pushed aside right now. I'd rather start Rodgers over Archer. He might not even be on penalties now either, Archer, because he missed the last one he got for Southampton. So, I'd start Rodgers. Greaves over Konsa / Mikalenko. I'm not sure about that one either. To me, even though it's the away game, it feels like Everton, my gut feeling is Everton are likely to keep a clean sheet than Ipswich. I saw Tuanzebe's out for like, is it a few months as well? So it could be a huge loss. It might be Johnson. Ben Johnson that comes in at right back. I think I'd rather start Mikalenko or Konsa over Greaves, but it's really close to be fair. The clean sheet odds I bet favour Greaves though. Let's see. Ipswich 27.5. Everton 23.5. So there's not much in it to be fair. Aston Villa 21.5. So yeah, so Everton are in the middle there. I don't know. I feel like maybe Mikalenko if I was picking between those. But the odds do say Greaves, so flip a coin. I'd go Mikalenko. Mark says, I'm on a wildcard and I'm deciding on a 5th defender under 4.6 mil. He's on Vandenberg over Aina at the moment. Other defenders on my wildcard is Trent, Aitnori, Lewis and Justin. Who else should I consider? 4.6. You can't afford Robinson. He's 4.7. I don't know about Justin. I feel like that's chasing the brace a bit that he got. I don't know if I'd spend 4.5 mil on Leicester defence. I'd reconsider the Justin pick. I definitely wouldn't have him on a wildcard if it was me. I did a wildcard video and I had Gabriel, Porro, Lewis. Who was it? I think it was Van den Berg and Anderson. So Anderson's 4.3 mil. I would look at him if you're either way for that slot. I don't know if I'd have Justin though. Seems a bit mad to me to have Aït-Nouri and Justin. I know they've had a couple of attacking returns each this season, but it's two pretty shocking defences, let's be honest. Aït-Nouri's more attacking than Justin. Like, Justin's not going to get a brace like every other week. So I don't mind the Aït-Nouri pick. Justin, I'm not so sure about. Yeah, other than that, yeah. I'd rather Aina over Justin, for example. Start Robbie Fowler or Les Ferdinand. Robbie Fowler. I've met Robbie Fowler. When I played at Anfield a couple of years ago, him and Heskey were like the two managers. And I was on team Robbie Fowler. And we smashed him like 6-1. And I scored a free kick. Some of you might have seen the vlog I did on that game actually. Any news on Visser? I think I saw he might be back. If not next game week. Why did I see that? Visser's in contention. Let me pull this page up. Yeah, I mean, he could be a great one. Like, once he's back, start him. Like, if he starts this week, could be an interesting one for next week. You probably can't read that. It says Visser is training on grass. Oh, there you go. Visser is training on grass with the team, which is positive. I need to find out if he's ready for Saturday, if it's too soon. So I wouldn't be buying him. I suppose if he's still got him at this point, he's a hold. But yeah, definitely don't buy this week. Like, in the ideal world, if he starts this week, or maybe just comes off the bench, you could look at him for Ipswich home. Because then it's a run of Ipswich home, Fulham away, Bournemouth home, Everton away. How much is Visser? Let me know in chat. He was 6 mil at the start of the season. Has he dropped below that? Sohail says, do you ever avoid players due to refs? I absolutely hate Oliver and Tyler, which is why Wood stays in the team instead of Delap. Also, Saka update when. I've never factored referees into my decision making personally. But 5.8, 5.9. But some referees give away way more penalties on average. So like maybe that is the next thing that we're not analysing as much as we should in FPL. I remember seeing an interesting thing on it, and like the percentage of games that they've given penalties in, and for some refs it's like they're 4 times as likely. So maybe that's something that we're missing. But I've personally never looked at the referee and I don't know, changed how I think about that game week. What was the other question? Saka update when? We don't have one at the moment. I'll keep an eye out. Oh, is it frozen? Or am I still here? I think I'm still here. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I'll keep an eye. I don't know if we're going to get anything. There was footage of players arriving at the hotel. There's a debate whether Saka was one of those. I'll keep checking in the background in case there is anything, but nothing at the moment in terms of early team news. How we doing, Nabulo? Boxer meat canvas. Tune. Absolute belter. Son or Foden? I think Foden makes. I think Son makes slightly more sense for the next 4, but it is close. Like if I knew Foden was starting the next 4, I'd say Foden. But I think Son. Love your setup. Appreciate that. Thank you. Yeah, I spent ages redoing the whole stream design. Last season's wasn't bad, but I felt like it could be redone. And also now there's some consistency between the stream layout and the website. Like, it's kind of similar with the headers here on all the widgets. So he went up last night. Raya's 5.7 now. Vardiel's back up to 6 mil. Wood 6.3. Solanke 7.7. This is actually the test version of the website, so we've got some pretty cool stuff coming. Like, see here. I'll have to zoom in because you won't be able to see it. Dashboard customization coming. You can drag and drop like that. Or you can remove. So like you don't want to have an ad, you just remove it. So yeah, that's coming. I'm going to add some kind of subscription system because the website's costing me so much money. But anyway, it's FPL.page or it's FPL Focal in the App Store if you want to check it out. There it is. Simon says, start one out of Semenyo, Jackson or Mikalenko. Out of those three, I think I'd give it to Jackson. Jeremy Scores says, Simon start Jackson. He agrees. Ren says they have Leicester after Everton as well, so that's 5. There you go. You're right. Yeah, I mean, Vissa could be a really interesting one. Maybe I'll end up going Wood to Vissa. Oh. The tab just crashed. Okay. Let's bring that back. Yeah, my computer's going into overdrive. 40 says, hi Focal, replacements for Diaz / João Pedro this week. Best replacements for Diaz, Bumo, if you've not got him, would be my top one. And then I'd say Johnson and then Maddison. I don't think Diaz is an urgent sell, unless you've got multiple free transfers. Like I'd expect him to start personally. But yeah, if you were selling, those would be the 3 in that order. Bumo, Johnson, Maddison for me. I mean, unless you've got loads of money, then Foden's the highest upside of all of them. But I'd rather Bumo. João Pedro replacements. Depends how much money you've got. Like Wood, Calvert-Lewin for a little bit extra. Or Delap for around the same price. Alex Pennington, thanks for the super chat as well. Triple captain Haaland. Let's get a captain poll going. I mean, who do I even put as options? Haaland, Salah, Palmer, other. If you go other, message and chat. Who's your other? We've got 2,100 tuned in. If you've enjoyed the stream so far and the content I prepare for these, hit like. Make sure you subscribe. Appreciate you all being here. Can you add a price rise prediction? I'm working on it. It's just, I've been quoted like $1,000 to implement price rise predictions. I might do it, but it's a lot of money. And this is why I'm having to add this subscription system, because I'm like bleeding so much money on the website. But yeah, right now they're running the machine learning to try and like understand the FPL price change algorithm. Because you can't just like reach out to existing price change sites and say, can you tell me how you've done this? You have to figure out yourself. And that's the really hard part. But I'm working on it. I'd love to add it because it's like the one big feature missing. But yeah, watch this space. FPL.page or search FPL Focal in the App Store. It's free. What's your prediction of West Ham versus Tottenham? My gut feeling is Tottenham concede, which I hate to say as a Porro owner. But I'd say maybe 3-1. If I'm lucky, 3-0. Is Konsa going to play? Emery said he's got a clean bill of health, basically, so everyone's available, including Konsa. So I'd expect him to, yeah. Unless he's not quite 100% or something. But I'd imagine he plays, if I was to guess. Who knew running an FPL companion app or website would be so expensive? You know, last season I was losing 40 quid a month on it, and I was happy to just write that off as a passion project. But what I didn't anticipate was launching an app version of it is what completely changed everything. Like this season, every month I'm hitting the same amount of traffic I did the whole of last season. There's about 100,000 unique users using the website and app now this season. It costs a lot to the website's had 100% uptime. It's not gone down once, but it costs a lot to meet those traffic demands basically. But it's been a fun learning process. I've lost a lot of money so far, but I'm going to add this subscription system. It'd be really cheap. The plan was never to monetize it, but it's the only option. And there'll be some cool features you can just customize it. You can have your own custom layout on mobile and desktop, so that's quite cool. You can just move stuff around, move to bottom, remove widgets. You can't see it, but bottom right there's a little widget menu, so you can add them back in, the ones you want. And there's some other visual changes coming, so I've been working loads in the background on that. James has got the app. Shout out to James, appreciate you. Mikey says, why not serve ads as long as they aren't intrusive? Most wouldn't care. Yeah, that's the plan. I'll put ads, but then I thought, if I'm putting them on, then why not have the option to remove them, if you see what I'm saying. So it's just a step further than that. There's a way to remove them again. And the only way I could have it possible to remove them is if it's really cheap, £1.40 a month, something like that, to remove them. Yeah, I feel weird about it because it was a passion project and that was always a plan, but it's costing me 150, 200 quid a month sometimes. And I can't just lose that every year. That's thousands of pounds. So yeah, I guess paying the price of growth, but that's fine. It's a fun challenge to find a way to scale it and try and recoup some costs. But yeah, I'm sorry I have to put ads on it. It was never the intention, but it is what it is. Suffering from success. HH says, bench Mikalenko, Greaves or Konsa. Good luck this game week. I think Konsa out of those three. Which isn't ideal when you've got Greaves and Miko playing one another, but I think you probably play the fixtures there. Greaves home to Everton. I like Everton as well, away at Ipswich. So maybe Konsa, because Fulham are a decent side, especially away. Day 103 of calling Focal a Swexy geezer. Thanks very much, Will. Suffering from success. I know, Jago. It's a nice problem to have. What's the day job from Jay? This is my day job now, which is crazy. Again, it was never the plan to make this my job. I started the channel around when we went into lockdown, 4 years ago, just as a hobby to keep busy. I don't think anyone would care about anything I'd say about FPL. Some still don't, but I didn't think anyone would watch videos I made or live streams. So yeah, started as a hobby, and then after a couple of years doing it, I was able to quit my job and just pursue this, which is crazy. Doesn't feel surreal. Doesn't feel surreal. Doesn't feel real. It feels surreal. Is it okay to start the lap in DCL this week? Yeah, absolutely. Morning, El Padrino. Shout out to El Padrino. He's at El Padrino. Commented on one of my first ever videos, and what was it he said? You were I'm here before 1k subscribers. I still remember that. He said something like, this channel's underrated. And it was when I was around 1,000 subscribers. I still remember the OGs. El Padrino, not Al Pacino. Haaland blanking. That would be a massive upset. Oh yeah, so 89% of captain Haaland, 4% Salah, 3% Palmer, 5% other. So who went other? Right, scout selection. Let's have a look at it. Let us know in chat how many players you've got. This week they've got Muric in goal. They've got Gabriel, Vardy or Milenkovic. They've got Saka, Foden, Johnson, Smith Rowe midfield. Haaland, captain, Watkins and Wood. How many players have you guys got? So for me it's Gabriel, Saka, Johnson, Haaland and Woods. I've just got 5. Richard's got 4, so's Jan. 3, 4. Nick's got 3. AB's got 5. Matthias has got 6. Can anyone beat 6? Johnson's overperforming. There's no way he keeps it up. He's got a nice block of 4 fixtures though, so I don't know. He's not really overperforming. Not really. 2. I mean, he scored 3 goals from 3.1 XG. I don't think he's overperforming. 2 assists from 0.5 expected assists. That's obviously a little bit overperformance, but I think he's a sound pick. That's why I bought him last week and he scored. Last season he massively underperformed. That I'll definitely say. He had 10.3 XG, scored 5. And then weirdly, massive overperformance on XA, 4.3 expected assists, 12. Who to start out of Rodgers and Smith Rowe? I'd go for the guy with the home fixture and start Smith Rowe. By the way, was anyone here on the last deadline stream? I called the Smith Rowe bench him. I was quite proud of that one. I'm definitely not always right, but I said I think he doesn't start and he needs a physical player like Burge against City. Not that Smith Rowe's prospects were that high against City, but... And then he was benched. He got the front 3. Should I get Foden instead of Son? It's really close. I think maybe Son slightly ahead of Foden for the next 4. Just because he knows he's going to start. He's on penalties. Maybe slightly better fixtures, but obviously City are the better team. Do you plan for the next 4 or next 5 game weeks? Not really a fixed number. And I guess like the next 4 or 5. Yeah, one of the 2. I suppose next 4. I've got a browser add-on called FPL Tools, which shows the next 500 players, which I find really helpful just to visualise the upcoming fixtures under players, and you can kind of see the rotations. Like when I picked Wood and Semenyo on the wildcard, I could see I'll play Semenyo 2 weeks, and then Semenyo's got Arsenal, Villa, City, and then I'll play Wood for Palace, Leicester, West Ham. Mr. Super Chat, sorry, who was it from? Johan says Lewis and Foden instead of Trent and Semenyo for a -4. It's not bad, you know, as far as -4s. I don't hate that at all. For a -4. I'd expect that to be repaid. But yeah, I think I'd just about do that. I think the other thing you probably want to look at is if you could just keep Trent and go to Semenyo, someone similarly priced. You know, like a Smith Rowe. Something like that. But I think that as far as -4s, it's just this week Trent could punish that. But then he's got Arsenal. And then after that it's Brighton and Villa home. But yeah, Foden's got immense fixtures. And obviously Lewis does as well. I don't think Lewis starts all the next 4, if I'm honest. So also check if the rest of your defence can cover him if there's a week he misses out. I think if you tick all those boxes, then I think that's fine for -4. But just check the rest of your defence and check if there's a better path where you just sell Semenyo and keep Trent and avoid a -4. Vaz says 2 questions. Play Smith Rowe Rodgers. I'd play Smith Rowe. And bench Concert, Alex Moreno or Semenyo. I'm not sure about Alex Moreno. Did he not come off early at half time a couple of weeks ago? Has he played again since? 79 minutes, 45, 83, 81. So I guess it was an anomaly against Brighton. I think he probably starts, and I'd bench Semenyo. And he says, as always, thank you for the great content. Focal plus breakfast equals perfect. Hope you're having a nice breakfast. Sakiev says, Saka and Palmer out for Foden and Son. Haaland and Salah I have. No, I wouldn't do that. I'd keep Saka and Palmer, 100%. You've got Haaland and Salah as well, and Saka and Palmer. What is your defence? Have you seen that meme? The crisp in the door. That's probably like... That's surely your defence. 5 4-mil defenders. I mean, fair play. You've managed to squeeze in 4 premiums, but I definitely wouldn't go Saka and Palmer to Foden and Son. Should I start Vardy? Yeah, I think Vardy's fine to start. Surely Semenyo bags a hat-trick. Surely not. Against Arsenal. Your defence is in trouble. Why is my defence in trouble? What's wrong with it? Thoughts on triple captain Haaland? I mean, it does make some sense. Like, Wolves have conceded 21 goals, I think it is, which is like 5 or 6 more than anyone. But does Southampton home not make more sense next week? Against the worst team overall. And a home fixture. I just think maybe it makes more sense next week, but... Oh, not mind the super chat guy. Okay. Russell says, play Martinelli or Rodgers and roll, or get Jota / Eze. Yeah, I don't know about Martinelli. Like, does Sterling start instead, maybe? Did Tommy Gunn say he'd seen him travelling? Who did he say he saw travelling? He did see Martinelli. Difficult one, that. I just don't know 100% if Martinelli starts. I think you start Martinelli. He's just so much better than Sterling, and he brings so much more to the team, which was apparent last game week when Sterling got the start. Yeah, roll. Don't get Jota or Eze. Just roll. Sean, thanks for the super chat as well. Thanks very much for that, Sean. Start Delap or Jackson? Delap. Should I start Robinson versus Villa at home or Diaz versus Wolves away? I'd go for Diaz. Top of the clean sheet odds this week, City. Who do you reckon the most transferred in player is this week? Most transferred in player. I have no idea who it is. We'll have a look in a sec. But my best guess would be... maybe Solanke, because he went up in price. Is there someone else? Surely not Palmer again. No, it wouldn't be Salah. Oh, Johnson's a good shout, Alex. Maybe. Bumo? Johnson? Let's have a look. Oh yeah, it's Johnson. 527,000 transfers in. Then it's Bumo, McNeil, Palmer, Justin, Woods, Solanke, Saka, Delap, Raul, Kovacic. 200,000 transfers in for Kovacic. And Kanate. It's the wrong time to be buying Kanate. Lewis, Welbeck, Gabriel, Van der Ven, Maddison, Rodgers, Watkins, Vardy. Alright, what about the most transferred out? Luis Diaz, 464,000. Then João Pedro. Salah, 288,000 sold Salah. Mazraoui. I said in yesterday's video, if I had Salah, I think the only circumstance I'd want to sell him is if I didn't have Haaland. Then I would be comfortable going down to a cheap midfielder and then a forward up to Haaland. Other than that, like, where do you go with Salah? On paper, Salah to Palmer or Saka or Foden doesn't really look like an upgrade this week. It looks better next week, to me anyway. Start Rodgers or Dibbling. I'd give that to Rodgers, I would say, over Dibbling. Even though Dibbling's home. Martin in the chat, he says, hi Oscar, delighted to be part of the experts team this year. Have a great weekend and hopefully a green arrow. Thanks very much, Martin. Thanks for getting involved as well. That series wouldn't be possible without all the experts that submit their responses every week. So we appreciate you. Should I keep Aït-Nouri for the good fixtures? Yeah, I wouldn't sell him. Obviously this week you don't want to start him against City, but I wouldn't sell. Luke says, hi Oscar, hope you're well. How is Havertz to Solanke and Colwill to Lewis? It makes a lot of sense to me, but I am anxious to burn both free transfers. Many thanks. Havertz to Solanke I like. Colwell to Lewis. Let me just check Chelsea's fixtures. They have got some difficult games, do they not? I mean, if you have to play Colwell this week, then I would think that was worth doing. Yeah, it's, to be fair, it's Liverpool, Newcastle, Man United, Arsenal, and then it's better from Gameweek 12. I think that makes sense. I like those two moves. It's a good pair. I mean, if there's ever a way to spend 2 transfers, that's a pretty solid pair of moves. Obviously, Havertz could punish you, but long term, you'd expect Solanke to outscore Havertz, especially over the next 4. And then you could always go back to Havertz. But I think Havertz does start. Who's your favourite YouTuber, FPL or not? Oh, FPL or not. In terms of non-FPL, there's a channel called TPD TV that I love. And they basically go to festivals like every weekend, and record vlogs. They're kind of like, the best way I could describe them is real life in-betweeners, if you've seen that TV series. They're all like, they all bring something different to the vlogs, and they're all like unique personalities. They're really entertaining. I'd say they're my favourite. Yeah, I've got an SWHBB t-shirt somewhere, Vic. So yeah, non-FPL, I would say those. I mean, in terms of FPL, I don't really watch much FPL content from other channels. Not often anymore. Because like I'm doing it every single day, I don't have as much appetite to watch as I used to. Like before I was doing FPL videos myself, I'd watch content every day. This was going back a bit now, but I used to watch Andy and FPL Tips. So I'd say they're both inspirations. Matty Briley's goated. Agree with that. He's probably the best one. Although I like Rob. Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong. There's so many great FPL channels. Yeah, like Above Average doing the one with Dean Ashton. I'm really good friends with Ross and Harry. We talk every day. We're in a group chat together. I'm going to Harry's wedding next year with Ross. And if I ever tie the knot, he'll be at mine as well. He's organised it in the off-season, of course, Harry. Very carefully planned out off-season wedding. Flandy in the chat says Focal #1 though. Thank you, Flandy. Harry's marrying Ross. Yeah, Harry and Ross tying the knot. I know. Unbelievable, isn't it? Huge upset. Their girlfriends are fuming. Anyway, Paul says, is it okay to start Vardy against Southampton this week? But I'm thinking a switch to round next week. Differential pick to Delap. Thoughts? I don't know if I'd buy Delap next week, because then it's Brentford away, Leicester, and then it's Tottenham and Man United. So yeah, I think playing Vardy's alright this week. And then yeah, Val makes more sense to me than Delap. I'll just play Vardy, yeah. I don't think I'd spend a move on Delap. Likelihood of Martinelli playing? I'd be guessing. I really think it's 50-50. I don't know what the latest is, to be honest with you. Doesn't he have a knock or something? Could be Sterling. Maybe likely in 50-50. Maybe like 70-30. Is it worth benching Porro? I feel like you don't bench him home to West Ham. Personally. Will Robertson play at Liverpool? Yeah, I'm expecting him to. I'd expect him to. Tsimikas came down with illness over the international break as well. It was a strange one last deadline stream. And sorry, by the way, if anyone had Robertson, because all the reliable leakers had Robertson starting. This includes accounts that have tweeted the correct lineups for years. So I shared that one on the stream. And it was bang on with the rest of the 11, including like the Diaz bench and everything else. But yeah, there was a last minute change. Tsimikas came in. It was last minute apparently. I spoke to them afterwards and they said even the press weren't aware of it. So I don't know what happened there. But yeah, if anyone had Robertson last game week, when we had that leak on the stream, then apologies. Obviously, the leaks are never set in stone. You kind of have to just take that risk when they come out, and many reliable accounts have been wrong like once or twice before, because sometimes there are last minute changes and that sort of thing. Anyway, a ramble about the leaks there. The early kickoff today is Spurs. I don't know if we'll get anything, and obviously City play tomorrow, so we won't get anything on City. Don't know if there's anyone else that we might get something on. 3 o'clock games, there's nothing leaping out there either. DCL captaincy. Surely not when Haaland's right there. Rodgers or Smith Rowe? I think I'd give it to the home player there, Smith Rowe. Smith Rowe to McNeil. I don't know if I'd do that this week. That feels sideways at best to me. Saka or Son? Son for the next 4. After that, Saka. DCL to Solanke. I've already got Wood, Haaland and Johnson and 2 free transfers. It is an upgrade, but obviously it's not a bad fixture for Calvert-Lewin either. That's the thing. But I do like that move. I think it's probably... It's a bit of a luxury move, but you've got like a couple of free transfers, so I think that's a decent move to make, yeah. I feel like Solanke's due a multiple attack and return game at some point, like he did a few times last season. And that Ipswich game in particular, 4 game weeks time. Fernandez, asks Alpa. What about Fernandez? Has anyone still got him, or is anyone buying him? The algorithms still love him. They do have great fixtures, in fairness. What's for dinner? I don't know, I'm about 6-7 hours away from dinner. I'll be in London at the FPL meetup, so whatever they're serving. Chicken wings, probably. It's going to be an unhealthy day. Beer and wings and chips and burgers, probably. Aman says, hey Oscar, is Havertz a hold currently? He's flagged at the moment and it's a bit uncertain. If you've got Havertz and not Solanke, I would make that switch personally. I do think Havertz probably starts, and so if you've already got Solanke, I'd just leave it a week and then make a switch. I'm expecting him to start, so I'd only sell him if you haven't got Solanke, if that makes sense. He's been seen with the travelling squad, so I'd expect him to start personally. So it's not a rush to sell. But if you haven't got Solanke, then that does make sense to make that move. Sean says, is Robbo, Jota, Palmer, Stewart out? Hang on, for 8 Nori more. Who's more? Haaland worth it for free. Aren't you missing a player there? Robertson, Jota, Palmer, Stewart out for Robertson, Dibbling, more. Oh, 8 Nori, Dibbling, more and Haaland. Hang on. You don't want to start 3 of those 4 you're buying. Is there not a better way you can get to Haaland, Sean? I'm guessing your other 2 strikers you don't want to sell, so it's got to be Stewart out. God. Hang on, so you're selling Jota and Palmer for Dibbling and more. But then you're buying 2 midfielders that you don't want to ever... I mean, Dibbling's okay, I suppose, but I wouldn't want to count on him much. Like, Dibbling's okay in a pinch to start this week. Maybe 2 of the next 3, but I don't know if that's worth it. There's got to be a better way. I'm just not seeing it here without working out all the funds you've got. Maybe there isn't. Have you got anything left in the bank to get someone better than Moore? Who is he? Who the hell is Moore? Hang on, let me just check who Moore is. Is this someone I've like completely overlooked? Oh, from Spurs, 4.5 mil. Oh, Mikey Moore. Yeah, sorry. I don't know about that one. You're selling Palmer. You're selling Robbo, Jota, basically to get 8 Nori against City. Dibbling and Moore, you don't really want to be starting besides this week, and Haaland. Or get some Spurs assets for Robbo and Jota and get Haaland next game. I'd prefer that. I think that makes more sense. Yeah, I would do it next week instead. Jurgen Klopp says Saka to Son this week. I'm not going to do that personally, even if I could. I don't hate it, but I don't think I would do that. I think I'm just going to keep Saka. I feel like he can get something against absolutely anyone. He's pretty fixture proof. I mean, he's blanked, what, once this season? I've played against City and Tottenham in there. The fixtures haven't been too bad, in fairness. I don't hate it, but I think I'm going to just keep Saka. But I can't fault anyone that wants to go Saka to Son for the next 4 and then swap back. It does make sense. But I don't know if I would do it, even if I could. Because also, what if you want to go Palmer, Gameweek 9, for example? But yeah, I don't hate it. I just think I'd rather just keep Saka. Dan Watson says, best replacement for Semenyo for the next few game weeks. Next few game weeks. Well, Fulham are hitting a really nice patch of fixtures. They've got Villa home, Everton away, Brentford home, Palace away, Wolves home, Tottenham away, Brighton home. So Smith Rowe is the first one that comes to mind then. Rodgers for a bit cheaper, but his fixtures aren't as good. His next 2 are nice, but then he's got Tottenham away, Liverpool away, Palace home, Chelsea away. So I would say Smith Rowe for about the same price. The other one is McNeil. Everton have got Ipswich, Fulham, Southampton, West Ham, Brentford, Man United, Wolves. Maybe McNeil's even better. Yeah, I think if I was ranking them, I'd say McNeil and then Smith Rowe. AK89 says McNeil or Smith Rowe, yeah. I'd say McNeil, just edges it. Poll it. Alright, let's poll it, Luna. Poll is up. Greaves or Dunk? Greaves. Any Spurs news? None really. I think everyone's available. Son and Richarlison are back and available. So, looking like a Son, Solanke, Johnson front 3, which looks really good against West Ham. First kickoff today. Dr. Yazan says... Why is that not appearing here? Hang on. Let me refresh this. Is that frozen? Uh-oh. Yeah, my tab's frozen. Can't see anything now. I'll just read it from the chat. He says, Pope or Pickford or Onana, and Rao or Lewin. I'd say Pickford out of those 3. Rao or Calvert-Lewin. I think I'd say Calvert-Lewin as well. Pickford and Calvert-Lewin. I feel like Jimenez is still just like 2 or 3 bad games in a row away from Muniz coming back in. Whereas Calvert-Lewin's their main man. He'll start every game. He's on penalties. Right, there we go. I think I'm all caught up. Start Milenkovic or Konsa? I'll start Milenkovic. They might both concede, to be honest with you. But I'd say Milenkovic, Josh. Jota to Johnson. Yeah, I like that. It's kind of the same story as Diaz, though. Like, I think Diaz and Jota will both start, and they are favoured in the league, but if you've got a couple of free transfers or more, then I think it's probably worth it. Otherwise, it's a bit of a luxury move. What to do with Ahmad? I mean, if you still got Ahmad, I'd be getting rid of him. Either try and find the extra money for someone like a McNeil or a Smith Rowe, Or if they're your 5th midfielder for the bench, then just get Dibbling. Dibbling's better than Winks. Start Mavididi or Rogers? I'd start Mavididi. By Reece James, trust me. I'm not trusting that guy. What do you mean by Reece James, trust me? He won't even start this week. He's definitely going to be eased in, even though he's back. Any chance we get Spurs team news? I mean, there's a chance. I don't think it's that likely, though. We don't tend to get Spurs leaks. Ever. Nothing yet. Havertz to Solanke. Yeah, we were talking about that move earlier. If I had Havertz, then I think I'd switch to Solanke this week. It just makes sense. Havertz, I do think Havertz probably starts, but it's a better fixture for Solanke. The next 4 are undeniably way better, so it just makes sense. Same if you've got Jackson. It just lines up this week perfectly to make that switch. So if anyone's got Havertz or Jackson and doesn't have Solanke, I think their move is a fairly obvious one this week. Marcus says Robbo / Havertz or Trent / João Pedro or Solanke Porro. I like Solanke Porro the most. I like Trent and João Pedro the least. I mean, João Pedro is still out for a few weeks at least. He might be back like Gameweek 12, so that one's a no-go. Robbo Havertz isn't bad, but you know, as we were saying, Havertz has pretty poor fixtures the next 4 compared to Spurs. So Solanke Porro, which is why I've got those 2 myself. So I'll put my money where my mouth is there, and we'll see how they get on today anyway. Techno Coaster says Salah, Anana, Welbeck, Duran for Bumo, Solanke, Wood, and Saka. Good moves, to be fair. So obviously selling Salah's not great, but when you're making those moves in combination. Saka, I think if I was selling Salah, I'd rather go to Son than Saka or Foden. If you're not triple Spurs already, Techno, I would do what you've done there, but Bumo, Solanke, Wood and Son. Chris Wood or DCL? I actually think now, if I was able to choose between them, I'd say Calvert-Lewin. Because Nuno's been suspended for 3 matches. Gibbs White's injured and he's suspended for 1 match. So he's definitely out this week, but I think he's injured anyway. Because there was a photo doing the rounds of Gibbs White on crutches over the international break. So it's a bit worrying. That's like 2 things going against them. So I'd say Calvert-Lewin if I was picking one now, this week. Brian Bumo. Will Trossard start? Yeah, should do. Odegaard's still out for a while, so he'll probably start in midfield again. Johnson or Rogers? Johnson. Eze for Trossard. Yeah, I mean, Eze's a funny one. Like, owners have been really unlucky not to get more from him. I still don't hate him as a pick. I quite like that move. Obviously, there was that free kick against Brentford. Who remembers that? That was so annoying. I was watching the game. He scored a brilliant free kick, and the ref blew a whistle like 0.1 seconds before it was in the back of the net. Incorrectly. And it had to be ruled out because he'd blown the whistle. Oh, was it Marcus? Sorry. Robbo / yeah, so Trent and João Pedro to Solanke Porro. What do you mean read it again, Flandy? Did that right, didn't I? Salah, Anana, Welbeck, Duran for Bumo, Solanke, Wood and Son. Yeah. That makes sense, no? What did I miss? Liam Delap masterclass incoming. Oh yeah, let's do Kings of the Game Week. Get your guesses in the chat. Who's going to be the top scorer of this game week? It was Antonio last week. No one got it. No one got Antonio. Get your guesses in. Who's going to be the top scorer of Gameweek 8? Shohan says best long-term defender under 5 mil, excluding Lewis. Long-term under 5 mil. Robinson, I would say. What was he, 4.7 mil? Everton, Fulham's fixtures look good for like, I think it's about the next 6 or 7 game weeks. I'd say Robinson. What are people guessing in the chat? Mavididi, Haaland. Mavididi? Bold shout from Andrew there. Johnson, Isak, Haaland, Salah. Another Mavididi. What am I missing? A Mavididi. Dibbling, Calvert-Lewin, Foden, Gabriel, McNeil. Unal. Will he even start? Foden, Havertz, Leif Davies, Strand Larsen, Milner, Savio, Son. That makes more sense. Odem Wingy. That is a name I've not heard in a while. Jimenez. Vardy hat-trick. Bruno. That would be peak FPL. It's Bruno. Buonanotte. Yeah, he's doing well recently, isn't he? He scored a brilliant goal last game week. Havertz. We'll see. We'll come back to it next week. See if anyone got it. CFJW, thanks for the super chat. He says Lewis, Saka and Solanke, or Vardy, Son and Wood. Ooh. Are you on triple Spurs then if you went Lewis, Son and Solanke? Because I like that even more for the next 4. Really close to that one. I prefer the first one though. Lewis, Saka and Solanke. Because Solanke's a big upgrade on Wood. Saka and his Son are pretty comparable. Lewis and Vardy on paper fairly comparable. Vardy a little bit more nailed perhaps, but then Ake is back from injury, so maybe not. So I prefer the first combination. Unless you can do Lewis, Son and Solanke. I mean, Son is cheaper than Saka. But the first one. Carol F says, got Johnson and Solanke. Saka for Son. For free. It's a bit all in though, isn't it? Triple attack. Like, I know I've got triple Spurs, but one of them's a defender. So at least like I can get points without goals. It just might work, to be fair. It's a little bit all out, but it's honestly one of those where you'll get people telling you don't do that. And I've had comments about this week. And I remember last season when there was it double game week 34? And everyone told me I was mad. The comments I had about having Eze, Elise and Mateta, I tripled up on them for the double game week. And all 3 of them got double digit points in the double game week. So I just think like that sort of thing isn't as mad as it looks. It's a little bit risky, but it can absolutely come off. But Saka to Son using the free transfers. We were talking about it earlier. I don't know if I would do it unless I had like 4 or 5 free transfers and I just had nowhere to be using them right now. Otherwise it feels a little bit sideways. And like you might end up thinking next week I'd rather do Saka to Foden. So I think I'd leave that one a week. If that makes sense. Hopefully that helps. Kulusevski to Johnson from -4. No, Kulu's fine. He's been starting as well in midfield. Definitely not for a -4. He started every game since game week 2. So scored in game week 6. Wouldn't do that for a -4. What's Semenyo's numbers? Is he still dangerous? Yeah, his numbers are still good. It's just the fixtures are horrible. You could play him game week 9 away at Villa, but you don't really want to start him this week home to Arsenal or home to City. But I'm going to just bench him for the next few because Wood's fixtures are quite nice for the next 3, and then I'll drop Wood to the bench and Semenyo comes back in. Basically, is my plan with Semenyo. So I don't want to sell him. I'll just keep him on my bench. Next week he might be first on my bench actually, but I don't think I can start him. I'll probably bench Trent away at Arsenal for Rodgers home to Bournemouth. Chaz Tat says Trent, Jota and Watkins to Solanke, Foden and Porro. Or Vardy, Jota, Trent to Solanke, Johnson and Porro. Or keep one of my Liverpool assets. I'm lost. Okay, let's break it down then. So Trent, Jota, Watkins, Solanke, Foden and Porro. Yeah, I'm not sure about that. Not sure about that. Vardy, Jota, Trent, Solanke. I like that more. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I would do all three moves. It doesn't feel like a huge upgrade. You could just do Jota to Johnson and then keep your options open next week. And then you've still got Spurs attacker and you're keeping one, as you said. I think that makes the most sense. I think you'll find better uses for your transfers, maybe even next week. I'm not sure about selling Vardy and Trent and using free transfers up. I'm guessing you've got free transfers, let alone for a hit. I think I'd just do Jota to Johnson in your position and leave it at that. No one talking about Kovacic. I mean, he's not going to keep banging him in every week. So I don't think he's a viable pick. I think most people are looking... I know, a lot of people... Is my stream frozen? Uh-oh. Let me refresh. Let me know in chat if it's frozen. My computer's on fire right now, I think. Oh, there we go. Oh yeah, so 56% said McNeil, 44% said Smith Rowe, so in agreement. All Things 30 says, hi Focal, watching on the way to United v Brentford, love your videos. Thanks very much, enjoy the game. Play Keane or Van der Ven? I'd play Van der Ven. Keane probably won't play. Because Branthwaite's back from injury now, so it'll probably be Tarkowski and Branthwaite centre back, so Keane drops to the bench. Fahim says Martinelli for Foden for a -4 hit. Oh, this is one of those, like you say don't do it, and then Martinelli's bench and Foden scores, but I don't know if I'd do it for a hit. Oh. It's just so hard to say if Martinelli starts. It's probably worth it for a -4. In terms of the next 4 game weeks, that should be repaid. The next 4 game weeks. The sensible thing is not to be taking hits for that, because Martinelli, if he starts, could absolutely get something. He could get multiple returns against Bournemouth, but maybe for the uncertainty, plus the fixtures and the potential for that to be repaid, I would do it. Like Southampton home is just unbelievable next week. It's going to be hard to resist going Saka to Foden next week. Maybe I'll end up doing that. But I need to get some rolled transfers together. Yeah, I would do it for him. Techno Coaster says, I can't get to Son of 9.4 mil. Should I drop Palmer? Nah, don't drop Palmer. But then how can you get Saka? I don't understand. You said Bumo, Solanke, Wood and Saka. But Son is cheaper than Saka. Don't quite follow that, unless you've got triple Spurs. You said Salah, Anana, Welbeck, Duran for Bumo, Solanke, Wood and Saka. I know, I would do those 4 moves. Dan says, is Havertz to Solanke a good move this week or next? I would do it this week. I think it makes sense this week. You could delay it a week, but on paper it's an upgrade this week, and it's an upgrade for the next 4. So next week next week they're away at Palace, so it's not as good fixture for Spurs, but it's a worse fixture for Arsenal next week as well. I would do it this week. I do think Havertz starts for what it's worth. Branthwaite's not confirmed to be back. Is that true, Bradley? I saw he's in training. I know that much. from there. Everton defender Branthwaite's back in full first team training. Has there been further news then that he's... Or is Dyche just saying as usual he's touch and go? Will Son start, Oscar? I'd expect Son to start. Postecoglou said him and Richarlison are back and available, so I'd fully expect him to start now. Why bench Rodgers? The problem is, who do I bench then for Rodgers? It's Lewis, Porro or Trent, and I think one of those probably will disappoint me. Maybe they all will, but I think it makes more sense to start them over Rodgers, just about. Jacob says, hey mate, I currently have Foden. Would you keep him for this week or trade him for someone else, and if so, who? I could possibly then do Mikalenko to Porro depending. I'll definitely not sell Foden. Definitely not. People are buying Foden, Jacob. User says, Jacob, keep Foden 100%. I agree with that. Absolutely keep Foden. Bernardo or Savio? I don't like either of them, to be honest with you. Like, Savio's... I mean, Bernardo's... When was the last time he even scored? I say that, maybe he scored this season, but I don't remember it. It was sometime last season. I feel like it's been a long time. And then Savio, I mean, he's got, what, 3 assists? I don't like either of them. He's not nailed. I would completely avoid both of them. I'd go for someone like Johnson for around the same price, or Bumo. Everton leaks. I don't think we really get Everton leaks. I don't know if we'll get anything, to be honest with you, as far as leaks. I'll check in the background throughout, but the early game is Spurs, and we don't really get Spurs leaks. Is there any chance Carvalho becomes a starter for Brentford? I don't think so, if I'm brutally honest. Visser's could be back this game week. So, if it's Visser and Bumo very soon, if not this game week, then how does Carvalho fit in? Not as a regular starter, if you ask me. So I'd avoid him. This week he might be alright, because Visser's only just back, and it's going to be a late decision on Visser being in the team. And they'll probably ease him back in. It could be a bench cameo, but I wouldn't be looking to buy him. Mohit says, Havertz, Saka, Diaz to Solanke, Johnson, Palmer from -4. Or Havertz and Diaz to Solanke and Johnson, which is better? I'm keen to get the Palmer upside, feeling FOMO. Yeah, if you're feeling the FOMO, just go for Palmer for the -4. It's not a great week to... I mean, Saka to Palmer from -4. Can you not do that next week for a -4 instead? Yeah, so you buy Solanke and Johnson this week. If I'm understanding correct, you can make that move next week for free. Is that what you're saying? I think you are. Next week. I mean, this week, Saka's got Bournemouth. Palmer's away at Anfield. There's no way that's worth a -4 this week. Just do it for free next week, when Saka's got Liverpool. And I think Palmer's got Newcastle, is it? Luke says, wildcard this week. Should I prioritise Solanke or Gabriel? Prioritise Solanke, Luke. Thanks for the super chat. And FPL Apprentice, lastly, 10 months. He says, Havertz to Solanke or Diaz to Maddison. I mean, this week, on paper, Diaz to Maddison makes more sense, and then Havertz to Solanke next week. I think that's the order that makes more sense. Because Havertz has got Bournemouth, which is better than Diaz's fixture, and Havertz's minutes are better. Yeah, I like Diaz to Johnson for free. What do you think of Wood captain? I think there's many better picks than Wood for captaincy this week, personally. These are the projected points. I mean, Wood's not even in the list here. This keeps freezing. My browser cannot handle can hear my remix playing in the background of the video OG song. It was Paredes. He said, start and Saka, first on bench, Semenyo, Orena, and why? I feel like Aina's likelier to get a clean sheet than Semenyo is to get something against Arsenal. But realistically, they both could blank. But that's why. Forest, 34% chance of a clean sheet this week. Would you say Semenyo's got a 34% chance of scoring or assisting? Against Arsenal, you'd probably say it's less than that, right? So that'd be why. That's why I'd prefer Aina. Pretty close though, I won't lie. Vazza says, punt on Foden for the next two. I've got Trent, Diaz and Havertz. Would remove Diaz for Foden and downgrade Trent to a 4.5 to free money for power in the future. I don't really like that, selling Trent as well to fund Foden, let alone for a 4.5. I don't think I would do that, Vazza. And I'm sorry in advance if Foden like smashes it this week, but I don't like selling Trent to fund Foden. I'm looking to sell Trent later, but that's to fund Palmer in Gameweek 12. I'm just not sure about selling him this week with a home fixture and Diaz for Foden and a 4.5. That's a downgrade, if anything. Don't think I'd do that, Vazza. You could just leave it this week and then make a call next week when Liverpool are away at Arsenal and then Foden's home to Southampton. Maybe then it's an easier call, but I'd try and find another way to Foden. So I feel like if you can make it through the next couple of weeks, like then Trent's got Brighton home, Villa home, Southampton away. Salah says, bench one out of Wood, Mavididi, McNeil and Bumo. Out of all of those, I'd say Mavididi. I'd start Wood, start McNeil, start Bumo, bench Mavididi. Which I know those that were guessing Mavididi top scorer won't like, but that's what I would do. Any Havertz news? He was seen travelling with the squad. Shout out to FPL Tommy Gun. He went to the hotel last night and he recorded the players arriving at the hotel. Was that Havertz there? No. Don't know which one's Havertz. Who's that? Don't know. Oh, there he is. There's Havertz. So he's with the squad. Is it Timber? Let me fast forward. This is the big debate this week. I'll tell you when. Now, is that Saka? I couldn't hear what those kids were saying. They were saying Trossard, I think. And then Andy Martin goes to the hotel. Did you see this? And it wasn't any help really, was it, to be honest with you? But Andy Martin then goes to the hotel that the Arsenal was staying at, and people were like working out the height. Andy's 6 foot. Mystery player seems to be 5'8". What is this? If you're 6 foot, the mystery player is about 5'8.5". Saka's 5'10". The mystery player is slightly hunched. I'd say that's Saka. I don't know. I mean, we don't know 100%. What did Asri tweet? Did I just post something about it? But yeah, that was one of the tweets of the year from Andy. No, nothing there. FPL detective. Saka trolling us. I mean, it wouldn't be surprising like if he goes in a different entrance. Arteta mind games. I know, it's amazing, Drew. I mean, peak FPL, isn't it? It's proper peak FPL. But shout out to Tommy Gunn for going to the hotel to get us footage on a lot of players that we otherwise would have no idea if they were travelling or not. But yeah, I'm just going to keep Saka this week. Carlsley said he probably could have played the second game, which was against Finland, but it wouldn't have been fair to risk him. So if he was that close to making the second game, why would he not be able to play against Bournemouth a week later? That doesn't add up to me. So my best guess is that he's fine and he starts. I couldn't tell you why he's not spotted there. Maybe he was the one in the hoodie. Maybe that was Timber. There was two players I think not spotted in total. So like 23 players I think was seen arriving. So then 2 weren't seen arriving either way. So 2 players came separately, not seen by Tommy Gun. So couldn't tell you why. Maybe he drove separately. Maybe he missed the bus. Maybe that's the theory. Saka missed the bus. Guys, Timber's also 5'10". Well, that's a plot twist as well. Cheaper Saka replacement. Son, I think, is the next best option for cheaper. Or if you have to go even cheaper, Foden, Bumo. Tim, thanks for the super chat. He says, thoughts on Saka to Son. Like and subscribe, everyone. It's good karma. Yeah, it's good karma to subscribe. If you're enjoying the stream, then do hit the button. Appreciate you all. Tim, Saka to Son. I like the move. I do like the move. I wouldn't do it if you had like Johnson and Solanke. It feels a bit all in. But Son is back. To answer Khalik's question as well, he is back. Postecoglou said Son's back, Richarlison's back, so he will start, and he does have better fixtures the next 4. The only case I think you can make against it is, number one, if you've only got 1 free transfer, it's a bit sideways this week. It's a slightly better fixture for Son, but he's just back. And the other case I've forgotten now. What was I going to say? Oh yeah, the other case is, what if you want to go Saka to Foden in Gameweek 9? That's the only other reason you might want to reconsider and just leave it a week. And just see what Son's minutes are like. You know, maybe he only gets an hour on his first game back. So those are the cases you can make for leaving it. And I think I'd leave it a week if it was me. And keep your options open. I don't hate the move though. Like I can imagine a lot of people doing it this week. But it leaves the door open Saka to Foden for Southampton home, right? And you can still get Son next week. Because my best guess is Bournemouth. Saka plays against Bournemouth. Rambling a bit there. They were clearly shouting Saka. I thought they said Trossard in that video. Maybe they were saying Saka. But can those kids even see either if we can't see? Eze to Johnson. Yeah, look, that is an upgrade for the next 4. I still think Eze is going to come good. But I think that's a good move. Like, it's not an easy fixture, is it? Away at Forest, I think they are. So, yeah, I think that's worth it. Bench Delap or Aina. Bench Aina. Start Smith Rowe or Aina. Start Smith Rowe. Will Conser play? Yeah, Emery said everyone's available, so I'd imagine he does. No leaks. Don't know if we'll get anything, as I said earlier, because it's Spurs with the early kickoff, and we don't really tend to get anything from Spurs, to my knowledge. But I'll keep checking. And obviously City play tomorrow, so nothing from them either. Love your content, Oscar. Robbo or Rodgers? I'd say Robbo, just about. Semenyo is my first sub, just in case. Looks good, British, yeah. I've got him second. Might end up benching more points this week. Rodgers is the main one I'm worried about, but like, who would I even bench to start Rodgers? Without hindsight, this makes the most sense, in my opinion, to play Lewis, Porro and Trent. One of those is going to disappoint. Maybe Rodgers blanks anyway. But without hindsight, I just think Lewis, Porro and Trent make more sense to start. Diaz or Johnson? Johnson. Havertz to Solanke. I like that, Agelos. That's a good move. 100% sure they said Saka. I had my wife listen, and she said, yeah, it's Saka. And she said, you're a loser. There we go, Martin. It was Saka. Like I said, Carlsey said he had a good chance of playing the second game over the break. And that was like a week ago now. And they just said it wouldn't be fair to risk him. It wasn't fair to risk him a week ago. then in my opinion, he surely starts. Surely. So anyway, I'm rolling. If anyone's wondering what moves I'm making, I'm just going to roll this week. It's not worth me going like Saka to Foden. That's the only move I could look at. Maybe I'll do that in Gameweek 9, but I think this week I just leave it and roll. Start Smith Rowe or Rodgers from Tej. I'd go Smith Rowe with the home fixture. Captain Saka or Solanke. If I had to pick between those two, I'd say Solanke, but I'm guessing you don't have Haaland. I'd say Solanke between those two. Just to be safe as well, just in case. Nick says, Shadow to Dibbling and play him. NWJP to Cunha. What's NW? NW. JP João Pedro. João Pedro to Cunha. Don't know what NW is though. Next week. Oh, sorry, Nick. Next week. Okay, so Shadow to Dibbling and play him. Yeah, that makes sense. Dibbling, as long as you're not counting on Dibbling. If he's your fifth midfielder. Like, if you've got Dibbling and Winks, then you're in a bit of trouble there. But I think that makes sense. Unless you can afford... Can you not afford João Pedro to someone else, like Calvert-Lewin this week? I think leaving a week's alright. But obviously this week, João Pedro to Calvert-Lewin's better than Shadow to Dibbling, and then buying a striker next week, if you see what I mean. But then you can't buy Cunha this week. If you've got your heart set on Cunha, then yeah, Shadow to Dibbling. Next week, João Pedro to Cunha. Otherwise, you could look at Calvert-Lewin right now against Ipswich with João Pedro. But I do like Cunha. I do see what you're saying there. Vardy or Rodgers? I mean, you have to start Vardy, don't you? Oh, you've got Calvert-Lewin. There you go. That's fine then, Nick. Makes sense. Did Shadow play last game week? I guess that you have to make that move to free up the funds, right? So you have to do it regardless. He did start last week, to be fair. I don't know. I feel like you can just roll. I feel like Dibbling, he's the best of like the dirt cheap midfielders, but I feel like you just leave Shadow. Yeah, I would just roll, I think, and just hope that Shadow starts, because Dibbling's like, for the sake of using up a free transfer, I would do it next week, and you might see something else that pops up that gets you to Cunha. You never know. I would leave it a week. He did play 76 minutes last game week, and he might not start this week, but I think I'd leave it. Captain Poll. Captain Poll is up. Message in chat if you voted for other. Let us know who your other is. It's going to be very one-sided, I imagine, this week. It's really hard to make the case for anyone but Haaland. But obviously some people don't have Haaland. Oh, what's my... Diaz to Johnson and Smith Rowe to Eze. Diaz to Johnson's fine. I wouldn't do Smith Rowe to Eze with a second transfer, Ben. Just keep Smith Rowe. I think it was a one-off, his benching last game against City. So, yeah, Diaz to Johnson. Just keep Smith Rowe. Already got Maddison, and I can fit in Solanke. If you can do Solanke instead, but then you are on triple Spurs attack. We talked about this one earlier. Like, It's one of those, like, it absolutely could come off spectacularly for the next 4. I genuinely don't hate it, even though some will say triple Spurs is mad. Like, I've got triple Spurs. One's a defender, so it's a bit different. But it's a sort of aggressive differential play that could absolutely send you up the ranks. It depends who you're selling for Solanke, though. But yeah, Diaz to Johnson I like. I do think Diaz probably starts, but Johnson's better for the next 4. Smith Rowe I'd keep. Solanke, it depends who you're selling. Glazy says triple Spurs is not bad at all. I mean, look, you look at the next 4, like West Ham home. West Ham have been poor. Palace haven't started the season well. Villa home, that could be hard, but it is home. Ipswich home. Like, that's 3 home games in 4. I don't think it's as mad as some have made out in my comments this week. Saz Play says, Solanke captain. That West Ham team under Lopetegui's awful. And they've been unlucky with how they start the season, Spurs. Like I said also, further to the having triple Spurs, they're top so far after 7 game weeks for expected goals, Spurs. Kano says, Salah to Saka, Pedro to Solanke -4. Not for a -4. I wouldn't do it for a -4. I'd do it next week for free. Or instead of Salah, you get like Son or Foden. I wouldn't do that for a -4, Kano, especially not a minute before the deadline. But my initial thoughts are I wouldn't do that. Daniel says, hit the like button, people. Yeah, we've been going for 2 hours, so if you've enjoyed this stream, before you'll disappear, hit like and make sure you subscribe as well. Thank you for tuning in to this deadline stream. It's good to have FPL back. If anyone's from around London, after the stream, I'm going to be heading to the FPL meetup. That's the address, the Thirsty Bear. So I'll be there from the Spurs game onwards, so straight after this. And that is it. That's the deadline. Is there anyone we can raid who's alive right now? We haven't done a raid for a while. Let's have a look. FPL live. We do love a raid. Is there anyone who's live? FPL Cayman? FPL Spad?
So, I'm going to get to it. But thank you guys for joining me. Hopefully I'll do a stream next week.
Oh no, he's just finished. Sheesh bros. What about these guys? We'll go over to this one. The Sheesh bros. Head over to there and spam Focal Raid in this chat. He's got subscriber mode off as well, so everyone get straight in there, spam Focal Raid. Thank you all for tuning in. I appreciate you tuning in, and as always, good luck this game week. I hope you'll smash it. That's it from me. Focal out.